So good evening everyone here from the StormTrack 5 weather team. I'm StormTrack 5 meteorologist Kid Alexander. We have a severe thunderstorm warning to tell you about. I'm going to zoom into that. So this includes southeastern parts of Greene County where we have some torrential downpours happening right now for winds possibly gusting up as high as 60 miles per hour. This cell is moving, looks just kind of slow, is moving to the south and southeast here ever so slowly. But you're going to find some torrential amounts of rain with that and some sporadic gusts up to around 60. It also includes southern parts of Washington County and Tennessee, also in the Unicoi County as well. So let me kind of pan back out here, show a little better perspective. Notice Kingsport, Bristol, Tri-Cities Airport not under that warning. However, there's a cluster of storms and cells really that's just moving together, if you will. Kind of part of this larger line of showers and storms is moving through, but the only severe part right now is in the southeastern part of Greene County. We're going to show you a couple different variables here. Number one, we have a lot of lightning with this. Over just the past 15 minutes, 101 strikes of lightning. Check that out. All right, 1 second here. We're going to take a little bit more of a look at the warning criteria here. So it's showing winds gusting up to 60. At the moment, hail is less than an inch or less than quarter size, so it would be about 3/4 of an inch. It's kind of what we're looking at if you actually see it. So kind of small there, but nonetheless, the main concern with this will be some torrential amounts of rain and some winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Let's take a look here at a couple other variables. Let's see, take a look at velocities. This at the moment is just a baseline severe thunderstorm warning, but still, just in case, there is a little bit of broad rotation, not seeing anything tornadic at the moment, so there's some good news there. We'll keep our eye on that. Let's take a look at some of the hail, not really showing up anything here. That's good. Okay, and we're going to get you some more information on this storm. So number one, it's progressing out to the south and east. We can also put that into motion here. We'll give you a better idea of some of the counties that it will, maybe some ground that it will cover. 1 second. Let's see. Not seeing any storm reports yet, so that's good. So no damage reports yet. Again, there's the warning criteria. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Appreciate everyone that's tuning in now. See how fast this cell's moving up to the south and southeast. 15 miles per hour. It is a slow mover, my friends. 15 miles per hour. All right, so if we can, let's see if we can put this into motion here for you. Put it back on loop. So since it's progressing out to the south and the east, let me put this in at 15 miles per hour. It's going to be a little slower than that, just a little bit slower. Refresh that. 1 second. We'll redo that. Make sure we give you the right timing on this and so forth. So like I said, the main risk with this is 60 mile per hour winds and then those heavy downpours, tropical downpours. We have dew points in the middle 70s right now in many locations. So this is absolutely loaded with amounts of downpours and rainfall currently. So now that we have the timing with this, let's go ahead and put this into motion. Located over southeastern parts of Greene County. So it'll be moving over south central. That's pretty much, what is it, 226, 224 right now. So eventually, if it holds together, 244 for Allenston, Rocky Fork around 245, Hot Springs 302 for Hot Springs. I expect this cell, kind of typical, as it goes into some of the higher elevation areas, this will likely weaken some as it goes towards Sam's Gap, but they will likely be looking at some torrential amounts of rain, and there could be some sporadic gusts if we keep this warning in effect all the way up there, some sporadic gusts up to 60, so sometimes that can make for some torrential, well, the downpours obviously, but it can make for some hard driving up I-26. Anyway, so that cell is progressing off to the southeast at 15. That is the only warned storm. Here's a broader perspective so we don't leave our friends out here in Southwest Virginia. Notice that from a broader perspective, I mean, we got some cells around, nothing severe at the moment in Southwest Virginia, but you do notice some of those thunder showers around with some of that lightning stretching back from southeastern, well, just southwest of Bristol, excuse me, is what I'm trying to say. Also some cells back towards Kingsport, some of that heavier rain there. But in southwest Virginia, really just looking at some spotty downpours for the most part. Northeast Tennessee is where we have that one warning, that one long cell. So good evening if you're on the chat. Let me see if I can answer some questions here in one jiffy. I'll pull up the questions, comments, and concerns here on Facebook. And that thunderstorm warning is still in effect there. As you can see, southeastern Greene County, southern Washington County, also into Unicoi County, Tennessee as well. What about Camp Creek? Great question. So Camp Creek's just a little bit right in that southern part of that warning. So you're getting the heaviest part of that rain. I'm thankful for that question there from Sarah. So yeah, you're getting the heaviest amount of the rain. You're going to have some gusts around 60, at least close to Camp Creek. So you're kind of in that bullseye, if you will. It looks like some of the heaviest of the downpours is almost moving off to your south. Still there right now. But if you hold on just a little bit, that cell will be progressing off to your southeast there for Camp Creek, Tennessee. Scott County, Virginia, we'll take a look at you. Now, obviously, we don't have a warning. You just have some areas of rain. You have that one pretty good-sized downpour there back towards Nicholsville. Some torrential amounts of rainfall with that. We could look at those rainfall rates, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some rainfall rates, maybe an inch, inch and a half, perhaps, per hour. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. That'll be for Scott County. South Holston. South Holston there, kind of missing out on it. You might get some of that, the cell that's just over Bluntville. Some of that may eventually move over into some parts of the South Holston Lake. But at the moment, you're in the clear. You're seeing a mix of sun and clouds there at South Holston. So thank you for everybody chiming in. Kathy Norris there and Connie about South Holston and around South Holston Lake. Here's a broader perspective. Take a look at that. All the shower and thunderstorm activity, some heavy downpours around. But the only severe thunderstorm warning at the moment that we have there in southern parts of Greene County. We have Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks in the house as well. He'll be tracking some of these this evening on the 5 o'clock show, 5:30 and 6. Yeah, if you have any more questions, put them in the chat. But anyway, the winds are gusting up to 60 in that zone where you see that yellow-looking polygon. That's where you can have some winds possibly as high as 60. Hell, up to 3/4 of an inch. Let me know in the chat, too. If you're in southern parts of Greene County, if you're seeing any of that, let me know. I just looked at the hail tracker a little bit ago, and I'm still not really seeing anything show up here. Doesn't mean that there couldn't be some hail possibly up to 3/4 of an inch. But not really spotting anything. Now let's see, what else can we give you here on this storm? Some of the cities included Flag Pond, Tennessee, Raytown, and Tusculum, Tennessee. So yeah, that's that warning currently. We'll bring it back out here just a little bit, broaden the perspective. Expect some heavy amounts of rain. If you're in that zone where you're seeing some of the oranges and the reds, you're going to have some really heavy rainfall rates. I can give you a little better idea of what you'll be looking at. One second here. We'll pull up the rainfall rates. So rain query. Where's my rainfall? As I'm looking for that, we'll pan back out just a little bit more here, see if we can show some of the rain that's already fallen. Here's some of the estimates. Look at that. Already some spots has had close to an inch of rain just from this cell. So now some of these numbers will update. I would say the ones there in Greene County. Now some of these might be outliers. Like you only see 1/100th of an inch in a couple of those spots. I think those are the outliers. Generally, we're going to start getting some updated numbers here for the heart of Greene County. And I'm sure, there we go, we're starting to see some of that fill in. Here we can start looking at some of that. And the yellows, look at that. Woo! We're seeing some rainfall that's already fallen in the past 24 hours here, both from this cell and some previously over the past 24 hours. Up to 2.3 inches in part of Greene County. How about that? That is a lot of heavy rainfall. Rhonda's watching. Thunderstorms in Bristol are really keeping my fur baby upset. Oh, I know. Yeah, I have two dogs, Cosmo and Jax. Neither one of them like the lightning and the thunder and the storms. Yeah, it comes with the territory. You get this much humidity, and then here we go. Get that convective buildup, and those showers and storms just start forming. Melissa Goodman, Belton, Bayleton just got hit. So did Rogersville, Tennessee. Yes, yes, Rogersville, Tennessee. We've had quite a bit of rainfall with that one whole cluster of showers and storms. Like I said, now it's still moving off to the south and southeast. I'm seeing a general weakening trend. We'll keep an eye on it, obviously, but generally it's not as strong as it was. You're still going to be seeing the lightning, the thunder, some heavy rain there in the oranges and some of the reds. But look how some of the reds was actually more prevalent earlier, tapping into some of that instability, and you had all that tropical amount of rain just falling. It's kind of weakening a little bit as it runs to some of the higher mountaintops there, and some of that topography starts to weaken that down a little bit. Now looking back at Rogersville now, looks like you just have some light rain in place. The clouds are still kind of sticking around for the majority of Hawkins County. Bristol's been seeing a mix of sun and clouds, but look at all that thunderstorm activity progressing up to the south and southeast. I know models were hinting at temperatures around 90, which it certainly feels like that, but with all these storms, we kind of went with highs mainly in the upper 80s just because of all this development. These scattered showers and storms have been quite prevalent. All right, let's see. Melissa, there's another really bad storm coming out of Bean Station. We can even look at that too. Yeah, you're right. So Bean Station a little bit earlier had a pretty good storm that was kind of rolling through there. I'm seeing mainly just some areas of light rain now. So I know they've had more earlier, probably over the past couple hours. But it looks like they're kind of lightening up a little bit now, probably getting a little bit more stability in the atmosphere after that whole storm system has been moving off to the south and east. Look at all that lightning. The lightning is coming down though, so some good news there. That's what we want. We don't want it to be severe. But yeah, look at that. Greenville, Tusculum though, still seeing that heavy rain, especially south and southeast of Greenville and Tusculum in Tennessee. Let's see if we have any storm reports. Nothing yet. That's good. Let's see, what else here do I want to pull up? We'll zoom back out here just a little bit so you can get a bigger perspective. That storm system is weakening, but we still have that warned for the meantime. And I can actually pull up and let you know how long this warning will last before it expires. As of 2:18, they put that warning out, and then it remains in effect until 2:45. We have about 12 more minutes, but I'm seeing some general weakening with that storm system, so that is good. That storm is dissipating. It's hitting that higher topography there, and it's starting to weaken down some, so that is good news. We'll look back at storm relative velocities, let you take a look at that. It's always possible when you get so much mixing in the atmosphere, higher winds aloft, you might have some of this kind of mixing down to the surface. So that's another thing. Even if you don't see the 60-mile-per-hour gust, it was a pretty strong storm at one point of time, reaching 60-mile-per-hour winds. So you may still get some downbursts, maybe even up to 40, even if you're kind of outside of this zone a little bit. Let's say you're outside the polygon, maybe you're in, I don't know, South Green, or you're just kind of close by, you might still get some gusts, maybe around 40, closer to strong criteria there versus the warning criteria. But at the moment, this is our only warning, so good news there. We do not have any more, and I can show you. Let me pull the camera back out here. We can pan back out to the north and west. We have a bit of a break, a little bit of light rain here for Southwest Virginia, but I am still tracking a few more storm cells off to the north and west in Kentucky, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Some of those may kind of stew as we get a little bit more sunshine, a little more heat in the atmosphere. You might just have to keep an eye on that, as we could see a little bit more redevelopment. But at the moment, this is the only warning. We'll stay on here for another couple minutes and just keep an eye on it. Southeastern Greene County. Let's take a look at those rainfall rates. Woo, look at that. Look at those rainfall rates. My goodness. 2.38 inches of rain per hour. Yeah, we have some crazy rainfall rates there in the pinks. So what was showing up on base reflectivity in the reds That's some of the heaviest rain mixing in with maybe a little bit of hail. Well, in this, when we switch to rainfall rate mode, look at those rainfall rates. Some spots are getting 2.3 inches per hour. Whew. That is a lot of rain. That is some tropical rain. There was some really big raindrops. I have no doubt about that. We've had some precipitable water values earlier that was in excess of about 1.7, and that just lets us know how much rain could fall in this kind of moist atmosphere. You take all the atmospheric profile, all the water vapor that's in the atmosphere, how much rain can we expect? That's what precipitable water, the index, tells us. And in this case, we've had some pretty high values. So anyway, we'll go ahead and put this bad boy here into motion. Look at that, moving off to the south and east. Southeastern part of Greene County getting in on that heavy rain and some of that wind activity, but I am seeing some weakening. We have some more just general thunder showers there back towards Jonesboro and Bluff City, Bluntville. Benham's getting in on a heavier downpour right now. Look at that. Hello. That's a pretty good rain maker there. Let's look at some of those rainfall rates. Close to 1 inch per hour in spots. So that's a pretty good little downpour there as well. There we go. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that warning there in Greene County. Like I said, the warning will expire at 2:45, so still in effect, but I am seeing some general weakening. We'll continue to monitor that. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. And just a good reminder, even though it's on generally what we would expect as kind of a non-severe day, just a good way, just a good idea to always have a way to receive warnings, whether it's on the StormTrack 5 page or the app or a weather radio, just have a way to receive those warnings. Anyway, it's going to be hot and muggy in between all those showers and storms for the rest of today, so typical summer-like pattern continues, and the extreme heat really starts to move in Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs in the low possibly as high as the middle 90s as we head into Wednesday. So keep up to date with the StormTrack 5 team on that. Dave will have his latest forecast coming up at 5 o'clock. And then, of course, meteorologist David Boyd again tomorrow morning. In the meantime, you all have a safe evening. We'll holler back a little bit later.